In the 9 villages of Umuofia, where Yam kings were respected more than princes and a man's worth was measured by his strength, lived a great wrestler named Okonkwo. His fame, like harmattan dust, had settled over the land, for he was the man who had thrown Amalins the cat, ending the great wrestler's 7-year reign. But Okonkwo's strength was born from shame. His father, Unoka, had been a failure. A man who loved music and merriment more than work, who died under a mountain of debts, leaving nothing but disgrace as his son's inheritance. The memory of his father's weakness burned in Okonkwo's heart like bitter cola, driving him to become everything his father was not. Through seasons of hard work, Okonkwo built his compound, married 3 wives, filled his barns with yams, and earned 2 prestigious titles. His compound in Umuofia grew large, housing his wives and children in separate huts, while the skulls of his enemies decorated his walls. When he walked, his anklets of war rang out, announcing his presence to all. But the gods are jealous of pride. During the Feast of the New Yam, Okonkwo's gun exploded, killing a young boy. The laws of the Earth Goddess demanded he spend 7 years in exile. Like a mighty Iroko tree uprooted by a storm, Okonkwo and his family fled to his mother's village, Mbanta. It was during these years of exile that the white men came, bringing their strange god and even stranger ways. First came the missionaries with their message of a god who walked alone, not needing wife or children. They spoke of devils and sins, calling the clan's gods false. Some, like Okonkwo's son Nwoya, were drawn to their new songs and stories. Then came their government with its courts and prison houses. The white man's law did not understand the ways of the clan. They called sacred customs savage and dismissed ancient wisdom as superstition. Slowly, like termites eating a house from within, the old ways began to crumble. After 7 long years, Okonkwo returned to find Umuofia changed. The white man's church had grown strong, their government had taken root, and many of his people had forgotten the old ways. When the white man's messenger came to stop a meeting of the clan, Okonkwo's machete flashed in the sun. The messenger fell, but instead of rising to fight, his clansmen let the other messengers escape. In that moment, Okonkwo understood. The thread that held together his world had snapped. Like his father before him, he would be remembered with shame, not for weakness but for standing alone when his people had chosen to bend. They found him later hanging from a tree behind his compound. The clan's laws forbade them from touching the body of a man who had committed the ultimate abomination. Ironically, only the strangers, the white men, could help bury Okonkwo. And so fell a proud man, a great wrestler, a hero who chose death over submission. The White District Commissioner, noting this incident, thought it might make an interesting paragraph in his book about Africa. He would title it, "The Pacification of the Primitive Tribes of the Lower Niger." But in the villages, they tell a different story. They speak of a time when men danced with their shadows, when words had power, and titles were earned with strength. They tell of Okonkwo, the roaring flame that was extinguished not by the wind, but by the changing of the world itself. And sometimes, on wrestling days, when the drums beat and young men grapple in the village square, the elders say they can still hear his anklets of war, ringing out a reminder of what was lost when things fell apart.